Hello. Welcome to the Healing Truth channel where we do nothing but speak truth and focus on healing. Healing is important, which is something that is basically it's something that is needed right now in this time. And this is my main focus. My heart and my dedication is to definitely most for the most part is healing the black community, healing our African ancestors, our bloodline. It's time for us to come back to who we are. It's time for us to go back to our first self. And the reason why this is so important right now, because I feel we're lacking this. This is something that our people are lacking due to the changes in this world. Um, and I'm just going to come with a little knowledge today. Each video is going to be a little something different. This is coming from my heart, from my studies. This is not something I'm just making up. This is stuff I've studied on, I've read, things that was brought to me. Once you get in tune with who you are, and you reach out and pray, and get into meditating and asking the Most High to work through you, allowing your ancestors to work through you, this type of information will come to you. And I feel this is something that we have to do. We have to, as a black nation of people, we don't realize how imperative it is to go back to our first self, to remember who we are. Um, we have a job to do. We are in this time where it's our turn. I'm not even going to say it's our turn. It's time for us to get back what we once had. It's time for us to get back to put the morale back on this earth. It's time to put the love back on this earth. Pure hearts, clean minds. You know, the original gods were black man and woman who we are. Those are our descendants. The original gods of this earth were black men and black women. Those are our descendants. Those are our bloodlines. Our descendants didn't worship idols. They didn't worship individuals. There were six saviors that came along the way. And I have mentioned that in another one of my videos. When the lighter race of people, we this is what we have to understand, because there's a lot of things that I've stated before biblically. There's a lot of things in the Old Testament that rings true, but there's a lot of things that was put in that Bible for a specific agenda. When a certain race of people were created, this is what we have to understand. This is one thing that is very important that I don't think a lot of us realize, because we've been so brainwashed on this Adam and Eve story, that was fabricated, that a lot of stuff in this Bible, this has been a history of just different people worshiping different messiahs and things like that. I mean, this isn't something new. And like I've stated before, when we spoke about Jesus, Yeshua, which was a real black man, but it wasn't in depth of what the Bible is making it out of. As a descendant of the gods, we don't worship anybody. There's nothing to worship. We're not supposed to be sitting up here worshiping and feeding off of idolatry and, materialism and things like that. I just feel like right now my heart is more so on trying to get my people back to their first mind, to use their brain to figure out who I really am. Go back to your African history. Find out who you are before we get too wrapped up and keep carrying on these narratives and these religions that really has nothing to do with us. Just like we don't understand how a lot of these religions were created by a different race of people. They weren't created by black people. And I'm just being honest, because it's time to be honest. It's not to be racial, but it was created by the white race of people. That wasn't created by us. the two religions that came out of one of the out of the black god that we are from, which was Yahweh. Yahweh was not a spirit. That was an actual God. That was an actual individual. That's another thing we don't understand because we're so blinded by what's been put in front of us. Because what you got to understand, there's different levels of knowledge. We are on a high level of knowledge. That's why we are considered the God. We have the God gene in us. We have the God minds, but we haven't used it because we don't even remember. We don't even know who we are. We are the original. We are the children of Israel. The African Americans, you are the children of Israel. You were chased out of Israel by the other race of people. Once they took over, they labeled themselves Jews. We're not Jews. We are the original Israel. We are the children of Israel. We're the Israelites. We're not the Jews. A lot of this stuff was changed and tampered with, but what you got to understand, the white race were given that position for 6,000 years to rule. So a lot of these things and these beliefs and this system has nothing to do with us. We've fallen into it because we've been controlled by an immoral system. And the thing about it is, in order for us to get back to who we are, we have to tap into who we are, which is disconnecting from the narrative of what somebody been telling you who you are and what to believe in. We think about it. In school, our children, our black children, know nothing about their African history. They're not taught any of that. They're they're taught all about the colonial way. We're not looked at in a good light. Our babies know nothing about who they really are. They don't know anything about the original gods. They don't know anything about this Jesus that they're constantly throwing in our faces, actually a black man, which was they totally took it and ran with it. There was a lot of individuals like Jesus who did what Jesus did. This was something that was passed on from generation to generation once we no longer had rulership of this earth. They were given rulership for 6,000 years. The time is up. They're done. What we have to understand is the light races and the white races came from us. It came from our ancestors. They created the white races. The God Yahweh, which is Yakub, created the white races because that's how intelligent we were. We are we were like major scientists. There's knowledge that no other race have that our ancestors have. There's a different levels of knowledge. That's why we are considered have the God gene in us, have the God mindset, but we don't use it because we've been dumbed down so long to think that we're inferior. And we're not. You're kings and queens. You come from royalty. You got some of these religions making women look like they're not they're not a factor or they're not significant when they're a major part of a God. It takes a man and a woman and a child. Man and woman makes a God. That's how they did things back in the day. When the original gods were on this earth, that's how they did things. These are not spirits. These were actual people. Yahweh was an actual person who created the white races from our recessive germ. It came from us. We have to start digging and understanding the truth and stop being buried in the lies. The spirit of heaven, the spirit God in heaven was invented to replace the direct knowledge hidden from them. Theirs only exists in their imagination. If you read that Bible, you know for a fact, you know yourself, a lot of that stuff in that Bible sound a little bit over the top. It just sounds like, oh, imagination. That's exactly how it sounds. You got a lot of stuff. I'm not going to bash the Bible because I'm not about to be on that. because I feel there's some truth in that Bible, but you just can't just make yourself stuck to that Bible. Because first off, that Bible now was put together by that Jesus was created by the Roman Catholic Church. So they had their own thing that they wanted to do. Once the Roman Catholics came in and took over, then you got King James. We all know about King James. I'm going to go into that too on another video. He created the Bible. You know how many Bibles there were? The Bible was created to fit a certain group of people. It was created to make us forget who we were, to worship their beliefs, their system. And this is something that we have to wake up to now, because now the 6,000 years is up, and now it's time for us to start new civilization based on good morality. We will rule the earth with clear mind and a good heart, according to the natural laws of the original gods. The original gods had natural laws. They had morals. A lot of this stuff, this immoral stuff that's going on this earth, that was created, that's been there for 6,000 years. This is something we have to understand and wake up and understand who we are. And when I say that, I'm so adamant about that because we don't know who we are. We're still sitting up acting like, this is just the way it is, and we're living under somebody else's narrative, trying to live like somebody else, chasing fame, trying to live that life, when deep down inside, the thing and getting it from other people, when you can manifest these things within yourself, because you are the creator of your destiny. Our ancestors manifest things. All of us black people, our DNA goes back to the original gods. Black Americans that was brought here through slavery. Whether you want to believe it or feel it or not, you were brought here through slavery, not just by the white colonialism, the white man. It was also, because a lot of things had to do with the teachings that Yahweh had instilled on the blacks then when they fled to Israel. So they held on to their beliefs. And so being that they fled, it's depth to this, because there's a whole bunch that a lot of people don't know about. There's actual depth. It's not a la land. It's not something you daydream and make believe and just make spirits out of. This is actual facts. This is why we don't understand or know what's going on, because we've been following someone else's belief system. You still got people sitting up here preaching and trying to throw Jesus in your face and Jesus this, Jesus that. Then what's worse is your own black people doing it all the time. What else do you know about yourself? Or you just give all the glory and honor to Jesus? Do you really know who you are? Or is this something that you seeking because this is what you want? You're seeking a different narrative, so you're in a different system. So you don't see what your people need. You don't see that we need to all come together on one mind under our nation. And this has nothing to do with being racist. This has to do with us finally waking up and rising and becoming bringing Mother Earth back to its natural habitat. Morals, living off the earth, taking care of the land, taking care of the earth, taking care of the animals, taking care of each other, loving each other, not being controlled by a system. And let me go back to what I was saying as far as Israel. During that time, a lot of there was an issue. That's a whole nother story. It's a beautiful story that you need to understand. I'm not going to go in too deep for it because it was knowledge that was brought to me. I'm going to take baby steps with you, but I feel this is important because this is called Truth Healing Channel. If this is where we're going to heal, by the truth. This is the only way we're going to heal as a nation of people. You have to understand who you are and hold yourself accountable for the things and decisions and the things that you're following. We got to stop pushing certain narratives on our people and come together with one mindset and understand and know that you got the power. You don't need to worship nothing else. There's nothing else we should be worshiping. There will be 144,000 black people who will be the new rulers of this earth. 144,000. And you know what the stipulations of a lot of the things that's going to have to change. You're going to have to focus on your people. You're going to have to focus on the moral, going back to what the way our ancestors did things. Because for 6,000 years we've been following this immoral system, being controlled, being lied to, being made look at really negative. We couldn't even get in tune and touch and get in touch with our gods and our God self and go back to our first mind because we were so smothered by other people's belief, always being certain people and images being pushed in our face. I mean, it's time to be honest and be real because right now, this is the time. It's time to stop seeking self. It's time to stop being selfish and be selfless when it comes to your people. It's time for all black people, all African Americans, all Africans to wake up and get it together. And I want to say this about Africa because in order for us to progress and move forward, we have to all come together. We are one nation of people. I never understood why Africa is so segregated and y'all all walking around with the same skin color. How are you saying I'm Nigerian, I'm Ghanaian and I'm this and I'm that? Like, what is the problem? This is what they have done to us. They have allowed y'all to think that way about each other. And this is one thing. I love me some African movies. I just have kind of disconnected from a lot of this Hollywood stuff because even Africa is on it a little bit. But I love African movies. I love Africans. I love my beautiful people. I love all people, but I'm my heart and my mission right now is to get my people together and get their mind right. Let's get our mind right. Let's get strong. Let's be the kings and queens as our ancestors were. It's time to replenish this earth and do it the right way. Run this earth the right way. It's time for us to get on one mindset. We have to get on one mindset. But what I was saying was, I could never understand when I was watching these African movies how it was so. One thing I can say, we don't do that. Black people don't act like that in America. We don't. We got our ways, but it breaks my heart for the motherland, the people that I look up to, that I can't wait to be a part of their lives, to be so segregated amongst each other. Like, I would watch a movie and they'll say you can't date this person because they're part of the this tribe and that tribe. I'm like, what in the world? Are they serious? I could not believe that our people, y'all are on that. We gotta stop that because that's what they want. They want us to constantly have division and separation. Africa have their battles and their struggles with this evil system, keeping them separated, making them feel that you're different than them. No, you're all the same because all of our blood goes back to the original gods, all of us. So there should be no separation. Africa should be Africa, a whole nation. It takes a whole nation, just like all of us black. And I used to, sometimes we got to think about it. We got to look at the things that's put in front of us and we kind of don't read between the lines. They knew who we were a long time ago. That's why they called us African Americans. But some black people, we got on our high horse. I ain't African. I ain't from Africa. Why do you think they call you an African American? Because they know who you are. Then we got in this mode of calling ourselves just black. No, I'm African American. And in a minute, I'm going to be African. Just keeping it real, Just keeping it all the way real. But I feel like Africa have their battles as far as the segregation is just tremendous. I just couldn't believe when I listened to Dr. Mumby video today. It just threw a light bulb up in my head because I'm like, she is not lying because I've watched movies and they literally um, have issues with their daughters or their sons being in a relationship or wanting to marry somebody else from a different tribe than them. I'm like, man, if y'all don't cut that mess on up out and cut it out and come together and love each other and be one and know how special you are and that don't matter and they love to see that. They love to see us separated. Same here in America. We may not have that type of issue, but we got issue with violence, kill, black on black crime. We always, a lot of our brothers killing each other, robbing each other. Some of us black women can't get along with each other. Jealousy, bitter. This the type of stuff, and you know why? Because that's the energy that's being fed. There's a narrative. There's something that's being pushed out to make us feel that we're not who we are. So we act as such. Our mind manifests who we are. We create everything that goes on in our lives. We don't carry ourselves to kings and queens and act like we have DNA and bloodline of gods. We treat ourselves like we're less than that. And we settle for it. We got to say no more and stand up for what we are in a point in time now. It's time for us to rise up and get the earth back in shape. It's time for love. It's time for unity. It's time for us to start getting engaging in more of the natural land and agriculture and just the earth. Giving more love into the earth, feeding the earth, growing your own, having your own land. Teaching our children what it really means to be an African American or to be an African. Or to be a king or a queen, to have that God mind. We got to get that mindset back. That wisdom, that knowledge, that spirituality. Because a lot of things were taken over and changed for a whole different race of people. We've been taken over by a couple races of people. But we're at the 6,000 mark. And it's our rulership time. But we're not going to be wicked. We're not going to do the things that was done prior to us. Well, let me rephrase that. We're not going to do the things, we're not going to do the things that was just done. We're going to change it back to the way it was when our original ancestors landed on this planet and it was just all melanated people, black people. There was none of this. They got us sitting up thinking that God is just a spirit. Heaven is just, you're going to go and wander off in heaven and you're going to be up there. It's just so, we got to wake up and start using our minds because we've been dumbed down so much by just what people telling us. We believe everything that somebody telling us. We feel because they're in a higher position or they pull up this. Do you know how long they've been running this for 6,000 years? They only got a little bit of our knowledge. So I believe there's don't quote me on this, but I think they only got 33rd degree of our knowledge. There's 36 or even higher than that, if I'm not mistaken, of knowledge that they don't even have. And they took that little knowledge and ran us all in the dirt. But that was because Yahweh, which was original God, one of our gods, who is our God as well. That's that's our DNA come from. He created that race for that particular reason, to see if we forget who we are. And guess what? We sure did. But guess what? It's time is coming back where we standing up and we're going to wake our people up, because we are magnificent. We are some beautiful, awesome God mindset, God spirits. We got our ancestors working through us. We some good people. We can do this. We can turn this around for the better. It's time for peace. People are too worried about money and cars and big houses and this. I'm trying to live my best life while my people around me are living their best life as well. And guess where that starts? In the heart and in the mind. I want to be at peace with knowing who I am. I don't want to be controlled. We should be being controlled by nothing and nobody. And that's another thing I'm going to say too. when I was going into the Israelite situation. There's a story to that, but long story short, we are the children of Israel, but at the same time there's a lot of things, and a lot, just like they took that and ran with it and made a different type of situations. You got folks creating cults and stuff out of it, got folks following them and all. At the end of the day, you're not supposed to be following behind nobody, because the Most High did not create us to be followers. We're leaders. You don't wrap yourself in cults and things like that and follow these folks. Know who you are, because we don't have time to be following nobody. We all need to be standing apart, bringing more and more of our people together, understanding and learning who we are, learning what's really important, learning facts, understanding the power. Some people literally go around saying, I watch videos, we don't got no power, y'all think you don't, they control everything. But that's the mindset that's being pushed to make you hopeless. When you know who you are, you know who you are. Whatever they create, that's what they create for whoever they is going to be a follower of that. You have the power to create your own. You are the creator of your own life, destiny, and the things that you choose to have, and the things that you choose to come, that things that come about in your life. You have the power of that, for that. It's within you. There's no more time to sit around and sit waiting for somebody to tell us something, and try to figure out who we are, or somebody else reading some us scriptures out the book to tell us certain scriptures and verses of Jesus said this, God, at the end of the day, man, we got to cut that out, because there's a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of people pushing things on folks to make them believe in something that's not there when it's within you. We're not supposed to be worshiping anybody. We're supposed to be thankful. We're supposed to, if anything, you're supposed to be thanking the Most High for the creation. Trying to tap into your ancestral DNA, the spirit that's in you, going back to your first self, which is knowing who you are. We forgot who we were. We forgot our powers. We are some of the most smartest people on this planet. They choose to not tell you that. We are the smartest people on this planet. I'm going to come with some information on that as well, because I seen something today and it told us there was like I'm going to back that up next video. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. I got to do it in increments, because I got to make sure we gradually get fed the truth. But just know who you are. Know that Yahweh was not just some spirit. That was an actual God. We actually had gods that came. We came from planet Sirius. We came from our ancestors. The original gods came from planet Sirius, and they originally came here with 144,000. This is stuff we got to understand. And this is something that goes on from planet to universe, planet to universe. It goes on and on and on. There's a lot of things. And one thing, I don't know about you guys, but like, I would notice sometimes when I would be in certain groups or things like that, they don't want you to go into, it's like, it makes you understand, like, who are you really working for? What's your motive? Your motive is to keep your peoples dumbed down to the point they can't go into finding out about the universe and things like that, because that's where the truth lies. There's a lot of truth in things. Our people were very intelligent. Very intelligent. Why do you think most of these inventions were made by black people? Because we are some smart beings. We have the God gene that we can't activate because we've been living under somebody else's influence and beliefs and narratives. No more. No more. It's time for us to get back to our first self. Loving who we are, knowing who we are, knowing that you are kings and queens and you came from royalty. Everything that came from our ancestors, the original gods, came from black people. Everything came from black people. Everybody came from black people. Everybody. Just know you're part of the 1 million 8 billion. Just know that. And we'll go into more about what the 1 million 8 billion, that's 1 million 8 billion black people on this earth. There's always going to be 1 million 8 billion black people. Once we reach that 1 million 8 billion people, things going to change. That's what we got to understand. There's a lot of knowledge and a lot of things we have to understand what's going on in this world. We have to understand our true, real history, how everything came about, how everybody came about, and stop living in la la land in this Bible. Like we're just living off of what, even not just the Bible. There's other type of saviors. Like I've stated before, there were like 6, 7 saviors. Our beliefs and our religion, what Yahweh created, He originally created Islam and Israel, is the Israel religion, which were, and excuse me, He was the only God that created that. So that religion and belief started to be tampered with, stolen, remade. I mean, it was just totally just slaughtered because He created that race of people to rule for 6,000 years, to run things. And since then, it's been nothing but evil. But now it's done. And this is what we're not getting. We're too busy following behind people. We're being followers instead of being leaders and having our God mindset, stepping up, saying, I know who I am. I'm not following nothing. My job is to bring my people back home. We need unity. African Americans and Africans, man, we get together, it's on and popping. I'm trying to tell you, let's cut all that segregation amongst each other out. Like, we can't be worried about you from this tribe, you from that tribe, because we from a whole nation. We a nation of people. How are we going to do the things that the Most High have created us to do when it's time for us to get the earth back? How are we going to do it if everybody's still stuck on themselves? I'm from this tribe, I'm from that tribe. Or even here in America, brothers hating on brothers, killing each other, sisters hating on sisters. No, we got to get out of that. It's time for unity. It's time for us to have a one mindset. All of us, back in the day, the original gods, our ancestors, they had one mind. That's why they were able to accomplish things. That's why there was peace. That's why there was morals. That's why there was, it was a beautiful essence. Let's try and get that back. Let's try and get that back, my beautiful people. Okay, I love you guys. I just wanted to come through with some healing knowledge, some healing truth. I feel it's necessary right now. I'll be coming with more to back up some of the things I talked about that I didn't go into. I feel like it's imperative. I'm going to give you a little bit of knowledge each time as I learn and study myself. I feel it's important for us to start knowing the actual real truth and stop following other people's lies. Follow the truth and stop following other people's lies because we think it sounds good. It doesn't. It sounds ridiculous. Once you get on a different level, you understand this sounds absolutely ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. We can't do much for other people until we work on ourselves as a one, as a unity, as a unit. We have to work on our nation of people, which is healing we got to heal our unity. We have to heal our nation of people to get us back to where we were so that we are able to do the proper things and have the proper rulership and do the things that we're supposed to do the right way. Show them how it's done. We're going to show them how it's done, okay? Because it's a lot of beautiful melanated people out there that I love looking at. I love my beautiful African people and my African American people. I love y'all. Get yourself together. Let's work on our hearts and our minds, and let's cut this out. Let's focus on the real. Let's focus on what's really going on. Let's focus on raising our vibration up a little bit. And this is not to I always have to say this because people get so sensitive when it comes to you acknowledging your people. I'm not a racist person, and everybody knows that. I have love for all races of people, but my love and my main focus is my people. And I'm going to do what it takes to make sure my people are straight. That's all I can worry about right now. Is making sure my people are straight so that we can do the things that we have been chosen to do. We got to stop following. We got to break away from the narrative. We got to stop allowing them to dictate what we believe in, how we move, how we think, who we are. It's just unfortunate. And I thought about that. Like, our babies were never taught, even me. Think about it. You were never taught about your African history. How dare them? They always made it talked about their race of people like they were the saviors. They were the ones discovered this and that. When they came from black people. But that's the way the system was set up. But there's no more because now we are going to be in that position where guess what? We're going to teach our babies, this next generation, the next generation, the truth. There's not going to be any more lies. We got to also acknowledge because in order for us to get to the future, we got to deal with the past. We can't ignore that because the past is what's affecting a lot of our people because we can't step up and step out of these shackles because we're still holding on to what's been pushed on. Some people really hate letting stuff go because they don't want to open their mind to the truth. It doesn't even matter if it's your own people coming to you pushing something in your face. They got a reason and a motive. Not everybody working for your people. Just like the Israelites. When they left that island and they went to parts of Africa. No, when they were in Israel and they were pushed out of Israel by the Romans or the white race of people, the colonials or whatever, and ended up going to Africa. They were betrayed by their own people as well. Sold off to slavery. So you're always going to have some people who just not for you. They're going to be, usually when they're not for you, they're for their own selfish gain. They don't want you to step outside of the box. They don't want you to step outside the narrative because if so, they're not going to get what they're working for. They're working for somebody who they feel that's going to give them what they need as long as they keep you brainwashed into believing something that they know ain't right. They know the truth, but they pushing some, giving you bits and pieces of it, but won't go in depth of it. It's time for us to break away from that. We weren't created for that. We weren't created to be following up behind nobody, worshiping nobody, none of that. That's not what we about. We ain't about that. It's over with. Let it go. Let it go. So thank you guys for tuning in to my channel again. I love this has just been a beautiful feeling. It's something that I'm really dedicated to. Sometimes when I've been in deep meditation and deep soul searching with myself, dealing with my spirit and my mind, dealing with my connection with the Most High and my ancestors working through me. It's just something that I felt impelled to do and focus on, and that's just bringing my people back to their first self. Knowing who you are, remembering who you are. It's time to get the truth out. We can't keep trying to lead and mislead. We got to lead with truth. And if you feel something ain't sitting right with you, let that Most High Spirit and the ancestors work through you. Stop letting everybody teach you and tell you what's negative, what's evil, what's bad. There's a lot of things we don't even analyze in the Bible and question. Just like in the chapter Ezekiel when they talk about the chariots and things like that. People don't even acknowledge that they telling you some of the truth right there. They telling you how there was original gods. Our gods came in spaceships. We had gods that would visit for a while, but they stopped doing it. We don't understand. This ain't the only planet. We not from this planet, but we were put here first. This was our planet. It was created for us. This is what we don't understand. We got to read between the lines. Ask for discernment. Discernment powerful. Because my discernment been working overtime, okay? My discernment been working overtime. So I'm going to end this video. Continue to just stay focused on who you are. I notice right now that we are in a time of a lot of confusion, but there's no confusion when you know who you are. There's no reason to be confused. There's no reason to be in fear. There's no reason to be concerned. All we need to do is focus, meditate, do the things that's necessary. Continue to pray to the Most High to reveal and remove and to show you the truth. That's what I did constantly. When things wasn't sitting well with me, I continue to ask the Most High and my ancestor spirits to work through me, to show me the truth. And it'll drop in your lap. Trust and believe it. It will drop in your lap. But you got to want to. You got to open your mind. It's a lot of things we got to work on, changing our habits and our beliefs. You know, the negative thoughts, our habits, our life, daily habits, our eating habits and things like that. I had to cut out a lot of things in my life, you know, so that I could be pure and work on myself and heal, as well as gain what necessary knowledge and wisdom for this journey for my people. Because I love y'all so much. And we have to love each other. We have to love ourselves. Because I feel like this. Loving yourself is not an individual thing. When I say love, we have to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves as a nation. Love ourselves. Because we are one. We should have one mind. So thank you guys. I'm about to have my dinner. I've been trying to do my I've been trying to critique and alter stuff, and I've been enjoying this little vegetarian diet that I've started for myself. I haven't had meat in like 3 weeks or so, if more, not more than that. I'll probably eventually go vegan because I found a lot of good vegan stuff that they care that I can eat. So I don't miss meat at all. I don't miss meat at all, but it's to each his all. But this is a lot of things we're probably eventually going to need to start doing anyway, because you never know what's up ahead. So you might want to prepare yourself. And then we got to think about it too. When our ancestors were here, the original gods, when they first were here on this planet, they didn't eat the animals. They did not eat the animals. The animals didn't get ate. You know, we didn't start eating animals until the other race of people got created. And I'm just being real, because this is what I've been studying. You know, they were created for a certain reason. Then, you know, we started picking up a lot of habits of things. There was a lot of things we weren't doing, but then we started getting in these habits of doing things that originally weren't us. So let's get back to that. If we can do it, we can do it. You know, not telling you you don't eat no meat and stuff, because to each his own. I'm not on here to do that. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm pushing you to change your diet, because it's to each his own. You know, it's whatever you feel is right. But for the most part, we got to work on our inner and our mindsets. We have to change our mindsets. We have to change the narrative back to the way it was when our elders and things were here, and our ancestors, the original gods. Our DNA, their DNA is running through our DNA, our blood. So we got to get it right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Healing Truth channel. There will be more content coming. Stay blessed, stay focused, love yourself, and don't let anyone bring your vibes down, disturb your peace. Focus on being the best version of yourself. Understand who you are, and it'll change the game. Good vibes only.